Am I the antagonist for telling my aunt to reach out to my half-siblings to invite them to my parents' anniversary party, since it's such a big deal to her? My parents will be celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary in a few months, and my sister, 24 years old, and I, 26 years old, are throwing them a party to celebrate. The thing is, both parents were widowed before they met. Both had lost their first spouses early and had children from them. Dad had 4 children, Mom had 3. They tried to make a happy blended family, but their first kids never wanted them to marry again and never wanted to be a blended family. 30 years later, and we still feel the repercussions. My sister and I don't have a relationship with our parents' other children. We have no contact info for them, we are not social media friends, and yes, we tried. I can't even remember the last time I saw them. Mom still sees her kids and Dad sees his, but it's never a family thing. I know most, if not all, of them have kids. I've never met their kids, never got invited to their weddings, never met their spouses. My aunt, my dad's sister, knows about the party and was suggesting that all of us should plan it together. I told her that only one set of kids wants to celebrate my parents' marriage, and that's my sister and me. She somewhat acknowledged that neither Mom's nor Dad's kids would want to take part in hosting this, since the marriage was never seen in a positive light by them. But she wants them to be invited. I told her I had no way of doing that I have no details for them as adults. She was very persistent and pressed the issue on multiple occasions, which led me to tell her to reach out and invite them herself since it's such a big deal to her. I told her she knows Dad's kids. She speaks to them, which is more than my sister and I do, and she might actually get an answer from them. She told me to stop being so sarcastic because she was just thinking of what my parents would want. I told her I understood, and didn't she think I thought of that? But I'm aware that I will be ignored, and I'm aware they have kept me from having contact with them, and that makes it very challenging. So the choice was hers if she wanted to do it or not. She didn't like my attitude at all, apparently. Am I the jerk? Not the antagonist. Your aunt seems to want a picture-perfect family moment that just isn't realistic given the dynamics of your relationships. It's not fair for her to expect you to do all the work while she sits back and criticizes your attitude. You're in the right for standing your ground and focusing on making your parents' celebration special, regardless of her demands. She may not like being called out, but that's her problem to deal with. It's a shame that your half-siblings are missing out on the chance to contribute and be a part of something meaningful. Am I the antagonist for not showing up to a Mother's Day lunch with my extended family? This is the first year where I, an 18-year-old male, don't live at home anymore, and it was the first time it was up to me what I did for Mother's Day. I was invited to celebrate with my extended paternal family, including my dad's wife, but I chose to decline their invite and spent some time with my 2 maternal aunts instead. This decision was controversial because my dad's wife married my dad when I was only 8, and I grew up surrounded by my paternal family, always being there every year before this, except when my mom was alive. For context, my mom died when I was 6, and we used to spend Mother's Day together with her sisters and my cousins. Here's the thing, I harbor strong negative feelings towards my dad's wife and most of my dad's family. My dad isn't someone I respect very much. His family disliked my mom, feeling she wasn't good enough for my dad and disagreeing with her parenting choices, such as not involving me in sports from a young age, as sports are significant on my dad's side, and involving me in the kitchen at a very young age, which I don't remember the beginning of, but I recall it being something my mom and I did. This disapproval stemmed from their belief that boys' men shouldn't be in the kitchen. They also disapproved of how my dad would defend my mom and address their concerns with her. They perceived my mom as using my dad, as he would bring her calla lilies weekly and make her gifts, such as a keychain she used until her passing and a bracelet. They thought my dad was being manipulated by my mom and that she was selfishly taking advantage of him. I am aware of all this because my dad's family and his wife frequently speak negatively about my mom in my presence, leading to conflicts. I used to be told that my dad's wife was a better wife and mother, to which I would assert that she is not my mom. She would dismiss my opinions by labeling me as a naive child who doesn't understand adult issues, and I would retort by calling her an immature adult who can't accept that she will never hold significance to me. I made it clear that I would always choose my mom over her and that I would never love or acknowledge her authority over me. I was even told that she provided me with something my deceased mother couldn't do to her infertility. My dad allowed this behavior to persist because he leaned on his family for support after my mom's passing, eventually aligning himself with their opinions. While he doesn't speak ill of my mom and claims it bothers him, he takes no action to rectify the situation, leading me to lose respect for him. He leaves calla lilies on my mom's grave every week without their knowledge, which I view as a cowardly act. Upon turning 18, I significantly reduced contact with them and only received the Mother's Day invite because I hadn't blocked them. I responded once, declining their invitation, and chose not to engage further despite subsequent messages. However, upon realizing I wouldn't be attending, they bombarded me with texts criticizing my decision. I eventually blocked them, but my dad's wife managed to contact me on social media, insisting that I should be present for the celebration and condemning my absence. Am I the asshole? It's great to see you reconnecting with your mom's family, especially if you've been kept away from them. Surround yourself with the people you truly love and respect. not the antagonist. It's really messed up that your dad's family and his wife still talk negatively about your mom after all these years. Cut them out of your life. They sound toxic. Not the antagonist. You can't choose your blood relatives, but you can choose your real family. Those people talking bad about your mom aren't family, so why bother celebrating with them? Not the antagonist. Am I the antagonist for not wishing my dad's fiancée a happy Mother's Day after they both left my graduation early the day before? Hi, sorry if this is long, but I am just so confused. For context, my parents are divorced, and my mother and I are estranged. My dad recently, 3 years ago, started dating a new woman who has 4 children. Her daughters were not very welcoming to me, but eventually started to be nice. My dad and I used to be really close, but over the course of university and him and her dating, we have drifted apart. My graduation was a big deal to me because I graduated with 2 bachelor's degrees and finished in 3 years. My dad's girlfriend's daughter was also graduating this weekend with her associates, but decided not to go to her ceremony. We are the same age and friendly, I thought. I will call her Sally for the sake of the story. I was getting ready for graduation and knew that my dad and brother did not want to sit through the whole ceremony, which only lasted 1.5 hours total. I asked how I was supposed to get home, and he replied to me I should Uber, and I replied and said, or you guys could just stay. He said they were planning on leaving to change their clothes, and they would pick me up after graduation. My boyfriend was the only one who stayed, and I was so thankful for him but couldn't help but burst into tears. After the ceremony, I had to walk over to the football stadium parking lot and wait for 25 minutes for him to come pick me up. I got in the car and was upset. My older brother, 27, asked why I was upset. I tearfully said, I'm sad that you left my graduation, and he turned around and scoffed. In the car, it was me, my dad's girlfriend, my boyfriend, and my brother. I told them all I'm just sad because I wanted to walk up the stairs after graduation and see everyone and feel celebrated, and my dad looked at me in the rearview mirror and said to me, sorry, I am not good enough for you. I broke down and said nothing else. They just dropped me and my boyfriend off at my house while they went to the store. We had planned before to have a party at my college house with my roommate's family. She is my best friend. They came back from the store and said nothing to me about what had happened. Rather, they continued on like nothing happened and low-key excluded me and my boyfriend. No one came to check on me, and no one told me to my face they were so proud of me. I am very confused because that is not how my dad is. He is really bad about sharing his emotions, but I know that. He is the same man who used to come to all of my sports games in high school straight from work. He used to get me a card and flowers when I was in the talent show. Now I have no photos with my family from graduation. My family didn't give me a gift or a card, which is not normal because my older brother got very nice graduation gifts for high school and college. I spent the rest of the day with my roommate's family who all brought me cards. Has anyone had a similar experience? Emphatically not the antagonist. Your dad and brother's behavior at your graduation was disappointing and hurtful, and it's understandable that you're feeling let down by their actions. It's not fair for them to expect you to prioritize their girlfriend over your own feelings and accomplishments. It may be worth discussing with your dad how his relationship with his girlfriend is affecting his relationship with you and your brother. Regardless, you have every right to set boundaries and prioritize those who truly support and celebrate your achievements. Keep your head up and know that many are proud of your hard work and success. Am I the antagonist for leaving my child on the bus? I, 41-year-old female, have a 15-year-old daughter, let's call her Beth, with my husband. On the weekends, after work during the week, we primarily use public transportation. Most of the time, Beth rides with us on the bus. She refuses to sit next to us, in normal teenage fashion, and prefers to sit as far away from us as possible. She also has a bad habit of putting earphones in and zoning out, not paying attention to our bus stop. So my husband and I have to squeeze through the packed bus to get her attention so she gets off the bus with us. We've had talks with her about how dangerous it is to be completely unaware of your surroundings, especially on a public bus, but she refuses to pay attention to the bus stops or sit closer to us so we can easily get her attention. Additionally, she has been asking us for more freedom. She wants to spend a paycheck on her own bus pass, which we are seriously considering for certain bus routes at certain times. Still, we are hesitant due to the fact that she does not pay attention, which could easily become a problem. That brings us to Saturday when we got on the bus. Beth chose to sit in the very back while I sat at the front. The bus was unusually empty that day, and I got an idea. The next bus stop was the stop in front of our house, and I exited the bus, but Beth did not. She wasn't paying any attention. Immediately after, I booked it down the road to the next stop, the bus terminal, and met the bus there. I was prepared to board again to get her, but she exited. She was angry, saying that I had abandoned her on the bus and that she was terrified when she looked up and didn't see me there. I apologized for scaring her, but explained how dangerous it is to not pay any attention to what's going on around you. I told my husband at home, and he agreed that it was a justified lesson to teach. When Beth went to her grandparents' house, my parents, and told them and a few of my sisters about the incident, they called me an asshole. Our side, Beth wants her own city bus pass, but when we ride with her, we have issues getting her to pay attention and stick with us. I left her on the bus at the second to last stop of a bus route that I knew was guaranteed to stop at the terminal and booked it there. She was not alone for more than 4 minutes on a bus that had very few people on it, and I was pretty confident she would get off at the stop, as it's our usual. This was a last resort after my husband and I have had several talks about being safe in public and being responsible. My daughter parents, sister's side, I left my young daughter on a public bus by herself and did not tell her she was going to be alone. It was cruel to punish her by leaving. I should have resorted to other methods that did not involve me getting off the bus without her. Anything could have happened in the 4 minutes she was alone, and it was completely irresponsible to leave her. So, what are your thoughts on this situation? Not the antagonist. It's baffling how some are making a big deal out of leaving a young daughter on the public bus for just 4 minutes during the daytime. Your family needs to chill and realize that she needs to prove she can handle it before getting a bus pass. It's either she steps up and acts responsibly or she gets treated like a kid. Beth can't have it both ways, wanting independence but not being mature enough to handle it. Would I be the asshole if I eloped because my siblings are having parents-only weddings? I, female 29, and my fiancé, male 32, are getting married later this year. We have been engaged for almost 2 years now. We were waiting to get married until we were both in a good financial situation, and we finally feel like it's time. Originally, I wanted a wedding with all our immediate families invited, parents, siblings, and grandparents. But over the past 2 years, 2 of my siblings got married, and only parents were invited. My siblings and I are very close. We hang out every week, talk all the time, and generally get along amazingly well. One of my siblings, male 27, got married to a woman that most of my family doesn't like. We all treat her well and keep our thoughts to ourselves. To be honest, none of us see their relationship lasting longer than 5 years, but we'll never say that to them. They wanted a small wedding with just parents on both sides, but when asked why, they couldn't give a reason. It kind of hurt that we, the siblings, weren't allowed to be there, but we moved on. My other siblings felt the same way I did. The other one of my siblings that got married, male 25, had a pretty decent reason for wanting just parents. His spouse has a toxic family that treats her horribly, so she only wanted to invite her parents and one of her siblings originally. But if my brother invited his parents and siblings, we would outnumber her guests quite a bit, and he didn't want her to be upset about it. She is a very sweet girl, and my family adores her. We know they didn't do it to be petty, but it still sucked that we missed out on another wedding. Here's my dilemma. I know I'm being petty, but I'm still upset that for a family as close as ours is, the siblings weren't invited. So I have honestly been debating eloping in Vegas with my fiancé and having a more expensive honeymoon instead of having an actual wedding ceremony as we originally planned here in our hometown. I have always thought the idea of being married by Elvis in Vegas was fun. I know it's cheesy, but I love it, and my fiancé thinks it would be funny, so he's down for it. We would pay for our parents to come to Vegas with us and be part of the wedding, but no one else would be invited. I know my siblings would be upset, but I would tell them the truth behind why we decided to elope instead. So, I get what you're feeling. It's tough when family dynamics get complicated like this. But maybe take a step back and think about what you really want your wedding day to be remembered for. It's tempting to go for a Vegas-style funny wedding out of spite, but cutting off your nose to spite your face isn't the best move. Maybe it's worth having an open conversation with your siblings to address the hurt and see if there's a way to move forward positively. In the end, you want your wedding to be a day you cherish, not one filled with regret. Just my 2 cents. Am I the antagonist for telling my parent I would like my birthday to reflect my hobbies and interests? I am approaching a milestone birthday, and my fiancé and I have been planning for 2 years a trip to an area of the country where one of my hobbies is produced. There is a museum and an opportunity to engage in the hobby, so it's a big deal and I am incredibly excited about it. I told my mother about the plan and she asked, well, what about me? What am I supposed to do on your birthday? It's a celebration for me too, having you reach the milestone. I informed her that she could come and we could have a nice dinner up there, but she declined as she was not in any way interested in my hobby. I informed her it was a lovely area with a nice food scene and we could do that too, so she and her partner had things to do, but she wasn't interested. I compromised and agreed to come to her city instead, and she was very happy. She asked what I wanted for dinner and I said tacos or something interesting. She then started insisting I invite childhood friends. It took me some time to explain that, barring 1 or 2, I had no relationship with many of these people. Nothing bad, we just drifted apart. I eventually compromised and invited the son of her best friend and his wife, and I was like, fine, whatever, it's no big deal. My local friends, however, told me that due to the distance to my mother's city, they wouldn't be able to come. We all work shifts and such, and I understand. Unless you have annual leave more than a day, being away isn't practical. I was gutted, but anyway, whatever. Fast forward a month. My mother informed me she was going to make lasagne and we would have a quiet dinner party. I tried to ask to please have something different. We love her lasagnas, but I wanted to try something special for my milestone. She said categorically, no, she didn't want to pay for anything and would rather make the food. We offered to pay for ourselves, so it wasn't too expensive. but she was insistent she was going to cook and she wasn't going to do anything else. I left it, not wanting to upset her, but I was becoming a bit upset, feeling like every single thing I had asked for had been dismissed. I contacted her today and asked if we could maybe do something a bit different, like going to a restaurant or getting takeout. I pointed out that I had already compromised pretty heavily coming to her city, meaning I couldn't go to my original destination. She told me, "I'm your mother. This is my anniversary too. But fine, you don't have to come see me," and slammed the phone down. I'm feeling really guilty about upsetting her. So am I the antagonist? For real, don't let your mom guilt trip you into changing your birthday plans. It's your special day. You've been looking forward to it for so long. Stand your ground and do what makes you happy, regardless of what she says. Not the antagonist, but seriously, don't be a pushover. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.